Greetings, hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to DevChatter. My name is Brendan, and this channel here is obviously DevChatter. If you are new here, welcome to the DevChatter community. We are an awesome group of people that is fairly passionate about programming in general. While most of our streams are in CSharp and JavaScript, we are very open to other languages and think that really comes down to what is the choice that you want to make. Now, we'll make some recommendations for how you choose a language, but at the end of the day, that is your choice, what language and framework and everything that you use. As I said, if you are new here, welcome. If this is your first time here, feel free to ask questions, engage in a conversation in the chat. Feel free to follow along if you are so inclined. Initial setup that we've got here, I have a StreamLabs Chat Bot installed. As I said, we're going to do a one-off stream today. This is going to be a slightly different one. So I think I mentioned that we're going to be doing Python instead of C# today, if you did notice any of that stuff. If you didn't notice that, it might be a good idea to join our Discord, which is one of the places where I mention that sort of thing. I also mention it on my Twitter. I toss links to both of those in the chat. You can also find them down below. Our Discord, if you don't know what that is, Discord is a chat application where there are a bunch of us in there, and we occasionally chat about, you know, an interesting development topic. So feel free to join if you are so inclined. So I want to make sure that I say hello to everyone that said hi in chat. So Andre, welcome, greetings. Teddy, hello, hello. And Stoolpenner, greetings. Glad to see some people here showing up at the beginning of the stream. I'm sure more people will come wandering in as we go. So, things that I want to make sure that I talk about. So I mentioned that. Okay, so StreamLabs Chat Bot. This is one of the more popular chatbots that's used by Twitch streamers. It is used by them because it's fairly versatile, has a reasonable amount of stuff that you can do in it. It has a lot of built-in things. It has ways of customizing commands to your liking, so you can add a whole bunch of new commands. They've got all kinds of features in here for how to do it. So it is one of the more popular chatbots. It actually used to be called AnkBot, so if you've heard of that one, this is the same chatbot, but I don't know the specifics of how it happened, but at some point AnkBot just became StreamLabs Chatbot. I don't know if they like bought it from the person that created it or what the deal was with that, but at one point their name changed. Hang on one second. When you get something in your eye, and then you do it right before the, like, I got something in my eye right before the stream started, so that's fun. Greetings, hello, welcome S&B. Okay, so, as I mentioned, it has a whole bunch of fun stuff in it. This is actually the chatbot that I used when our stream started, like, you know, 220 episodes ago. So this is actually the one that I started with. In fact, this, I believe, is the same instance even of the one I was running then. So I'm not going to pull up all the stuff because I don't want to like show usernames of people that were here at the beginning and stuff like that. But needless to say, this is the bot. It has a whole bunch of features for various stuff. So it's a great bot. As I said, I used to use it. Hey Nate, welcome, and thank you for the 14 months of Twitch Prime. Please do enjoy your Grinodon and a set of emotes. We have a handful of Grinodon people in here, yeah, because S&B's one also. And Stoolpenner. So, alright, so, if you are planning on streaming and you don't want to build your own bot like we did on our stream, because we built our own bot, we've actually built like 3 separate bots. Yeah, that's right, I have 3 bots running right now, and I haven't even actually connected the StreamLabs Chat Bot yet. So, as developers, we like building cool stuff, and I want to show you how to build cool stuff. So if you don't want to go the route that we went and build a full custom bot, and you just want to be able to do some of your own customizations and build your own plugins and features and cool games and stuff like that, well, you can actually just go grab one like this and build a plugin. So we're going to talk about that. So as I mentioned, you can build custom commands, and they actually have variables for things. So I could put in the response to my command, I don't remember what any of the variables are, but there's something like, the username, and I could say like, shout it at, and say like target. And so the $sign thing, that's how it does like placements of variables and things like that. I don't remember what the variables are. It's in their documentation. We could look it up if we actually wanted to build one this way. And so we could make the command be like the shout command, and we could say that everyone can use it, and it's got a cooldown of a minute. And when you do the shout command, it says, username shouted at target. Now, what does target mean? Now, target is actually just like it's getting into their concept of parameters. So the target would be like if I would type !shout. So if I did this, for example, if I said shout and then I said SNB, then the command we're creating would be to tell the bot, hey, when you see shout, respond with, DevChatter shouted at SNB, right? And that's the concept of these custom commands. This is not what we're building today. This is a custom command. We are doing a custom script. And that means we're actually going to do some Python programming. But I wanted to show you this because it has this extensibility for all of the little stuff that you'd want to build. So for anyone that's doing that, it's there. And that does not require a developer. This next step that we're going to do, it doesn't require a developer, because you can get along just writing a little bit of code. So like, you don't have to be a developer beforehand. You can kind of figure out programming a little bit and make it work. So that's the cool thing about it. All right, so let's not make that command, because we don't need that command. All right, so what we want is the scripts tab. So here's the big thing. Notice over here on the left, the word scripts does not appear. I want the scripts tab. This is one of the strangest things about StreamLabs Chat Bot, and it baffled the heck out of me at first because it made no sense. So let me show you what you do with this one. So you click on this little person icon down here to bring up your connections. Once this comes up, you'll see that I've got a Twitch bot that I can connect, and I also have a Twitch streamer that I can connect. Now, this is weird. So essentially the idea is you can connect to chat as yourself. So I could put like just DevChatter in here and connect it, but right now I've got it connected to my bot's channel. So that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and connect. So when I do that, the streamer has connected, not the bot. So the bot is not actually connected to anything. But when I do that, it actually adds in my scripts tab. So the act of telling it, hey, connect once, is what gives you this tab. I don't understand why they don't give you access to the scripts tab when you're not connected, but they require it for some reason. So you have to connect first. So that's the confusing thing out of the way. You weren't going to figure that out without someone telling you you had to do that. Well, okay, maybe you would have, but I didn't. The other thing we want to do is I want to connect the Twitch bot. So we're going to connect the bot. You're about to connect the bot. Yes, go ahead. Thank you. All right, so if we look in the console, you'll see that it says the streamer has connected and the bot has connected. So I could say hello, and you'll see that it sent it into that channel from the bot, and notice it has the streamer icon. And then if I switch over to the bot and I say from the bot, you'll see that, again, the weirdness here is the bot seems to be a moderator and subscriber indicated in its icon, though it is the streamer. It's the same account. So there's a little bit of confusion there in the program of this because it's trying to treat them as two separate instances because one's the bot and one's the streamer. Don't worry about that. Not a huge deal. But once you do this, you can see that I am connected in and chat is working, and you know what? Let me prove it. Bot chat. All right, this should be the chat right here. So I am in the DevChatter bot chat, and I can say over here, I'll just say hi there. Hi there. I can type, and you'll see it appears over there. Now, what's weird is notice that one also, so this one shows up, and that's from me. So that's a separate one. but I can go over here and I can say, oh, hello, and it says it over there. Okay, so we are connected, everything's working. Bot is definitely in there. That's just our little bit of proof. Okay, so we want to make a script. Well, if I hop over into the scripts, there is a couple of points that I want to make. First off, in order to run this, you actually need to have Python 2.7.13 installed. And that's because the actual execution of Python in the program depends on this version. Yes, it is an old version. Exactly. Teddy's like, wait, 2? It's like, yeah, it is 2.7. So just a heads up, they have not updated the program yet to do this. So if you need a separate installation of Python on your computer, do that. Just number them, something like that, and you can get that set up if you already have another version. Yeah. So yes, I know, everybody. It is an old version of Python. Settle down. You can still do good stuff with it. Let's see. So that's actually how they get set up. The next thing is you can right-click in this space here, and you can say Open the Script folder. And when you do that, it just opens up Explorer, which it did over on my other screen. And let me hang on. Yeah, hang on. All right. So there we go. So in here, you'll see that I have one project, and that is this Bit Wars one, and that's a project that I created in the StreamLabs Chat Bot, and it works pretty well. What I said about versions. Oh, yeah. So for this, and it will tell you when you do this, you need to find Python version 2.7.13 in order to do this. It's not using the current version of Python's hang on, it's like 3.5 or something. What is the current version of Python? 3.6? Is it 3.6? No, 3.7? 3.7. Yep, see, I'm off. Yep, 3.7.4. There it is. So when we say download 2.7, you got to realize it's not recent. So yeah, thanks, Teddy. So it's one of those like, okay. So for anyone that doesn't know, I actually used to program in Python a long time ago. My Python knowledge is shaky at best anymore because it's been a while. I can still do stuff in it, and that's one of the things that I was happy about because I had to do some for a client recently, and I gotta say, it is nice to pull out some of those old languages you used to use and just do stuff with them. It's fun from time to time. Okay, so I mentioned we need 2.7.13, and you connect it, you tell it which folder it's in, and then you open up this and you can go into the scripts folder. Now what we need to put in that scripts folder is a project. There are a couple of simple files that we need, but I'm going to start us off with the boilerplate that they make available. So let's start with that. So out here on this page is the StreamLabs Chat Bot Python boilerplate. And all it is a simple little project that has this folder. It has a UI config file. It's got a basic Python file that we're going to start with, and this is a file for the settings. It also has the template for doing an overlay, although we're not going to do that for our first script that we do, because that's getting a little bit complicated, and yeah, we can do that later, and it'll work just fine. So, step 1. I could clone this, but I'm just going to download it because I don't want their history. I want to just start my own. Hey, welcome, Suna. Alright, so step 1, download a zip of the boilerplate project, and then I'm going to put it in here and extract it. Now, I don't know exactly how much structure they put in this thing, so we're going to find out. So I extracted it right here. This is the project. Okay, so they gave me a get ignore and a readme. I have a feeling I don't want their get ignore. But also, I want to give this project a better name. So, step 1, give this project a better name. What do we want to start with? How about Sith? We'll do Sith detector. Clearly, we're not talking about anything that's involved in any kind of sci-fi or fantasy franchises or anything like that. That's just a, clearly a, that's a joke. No, we're gonna do this because it sounds fun. Okay, so let's grab these files. I mentioned that we would need these, and I'll explain what each one does in a second. So we're gonna bring them up here. I'm gonna get rid of the get ignore, the wiki, the readme, and that folder. Okay, so here's what I want out of that boilerplate. I want a couple of things. I have a UI config JSON file. I have the template streamlabs system.py, .py, and then I've got a lib folder with a settings module in it. You had a count. Hey, there are people that claim that as their religion, S&B, so why not? Ah! Didn't mean to do that. Let's go ahead and open up a folder, and we're going to open up the Sith detector folder. So here we go. Awesome. We have a folder open. We have some basic just stuff. This is like boilerplate junk that they gave us. They apparently have both tabs and spaces in here. So I'm going to fix that real fast. There we go. No more tabs in this project. And actually, I don't care whether you use tabs or spaces. Just don't mix them, because it gets weird when displaying in some places, like GitHub, for example, where it's like, okay, tabs and it's not aligned, and it's like, okay, great. Someone used tabs and spaces. Just pick one. I don't care which. Okay. Here's the next thing that we want to do. I want to see if this works at all. So let's hop over here and let's just reload the scripts and see what happened. Hey, there it is. So template script is here and it's in. So that means that StreamLabs Chat Bot has detected our program. It's working. So if there are any beginner programmers in here, I want to give you probably the best piece of advice that was given to me when I started programming. And that is, as often as possible and as quickly as possible, check and see if your code works. And that means, like, do a small thing, check it, run it. If you're unit testing, run the unit tests. It doesn't matter, just run it, and then run it again, and run it again, and run it again, and run it again, and run it again. You can keep running it again. Make sure that there's not any cost to doing it, and you can just run it all the time. So a lot of times I'll see early programmers that won't run it until they're done. And it's like, no, just run it now. You should see it get to whatever point you expect it to get to. And that's actually a great thing. Okay, so looks like this takes in a ping command and responds back with Pong is probably what it's doing. The names of these aren't exactly great, so the UI is kind of junk. It's got cooldown configuration in seconds, permissions selection, so I can choose who's allowed to do it, and this is the starting point it gave us. I'm not really huge on this one, so we're going to toss it. We want to do a Sith detector. So, how are we going to create our Sith detector? First off, let's fix its name. So for that, you'll notice that this is template_streamlabs is the name of this file. If we look over here and take a look at the script, it says template script. Okay, let's do a couple of things to fix that, because, well, I'm not big on these names that it has chosen for us. So instead of template script, let's go with Sith detector. Detector? Yeah, I know how words work. Okay, so we made Sith detector. Next thing I want to do is I want to change this file name. Oh, wait, no, oh man. Why is no one yelling at me? Why? You should all be yelling at me right now. I'm doing a terrible thing. Where is this code? Reveal and Explorer. There we go. All right. Do. What? Oh. My bad. There's a space in that name. Alright. Cal Raven. You also find it keeps your code organized. If you're running it regularly, you can see if your method is doing more than one thing. Yes! Exactly. You can see what's going on in your code if you run that frequently. Oh, and, oh, I don't have the game running. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna fix one thing by doing something kind of weird. I apologize about the delay, everyone. I want to fix one thing about the overlay on our stream right now. That some people are going to figure out what I'm doing, maybe. And this is why I recommend that everybody program on powerful computers. It's because you need the extra juice to be able to do stuff like this. What do we want to do? We want to do orange, orange, red, red, dark red. No, we'll go with menu, dark red, orange, red, orange, red, dark red. How's that? Yeah, there we go. Nice. Way better, huh? I was changing that little color thingy there. Okay, so I'm in here. This is the thing that I wanted all of you to yell at me about, and that is I never did this. I did not initialize this as a Git repo. So this should have the settings file, the template file, and the UI config file. So we're going to say git commit -m, and we're going to say that this is the initial boilerplate code. Okay, so we started from the boilerplate. I'm going to commit that, and then we can make all the changes we want. I will tell you, even if you're just doing a scrap project locally, this is another piece of advice for any of the newer programmers out there. Go ahead and just make commits, even if you're not going to push them anywhere, because now I have a little bit of a safety net, so if I take some steps and I realize I screw something up, I can always back up because I've got source control even locally on it. So super, super useful. All right, let's go ahead and do a quick rename, which actually, why don't I just do the rename in here? So we're going to do a get move. Yeah, I can type. We're going to move the template Streamlabs to the same name, but instead what I'm going to do is this. Instead of calling it template, I am going to say sith detect. Okay. So now if I check the status, you'll see that it knows it's a rename. So I don't know if everybody knows that you can do that. If you want to make sure that that Git knows that you did a rename and not you know, didn't just delete and create a new file, you can actually do the Git command that way, and it will record it as one. So I'm going to go ahead and say git commit rename the main script file. So that's the main script. Now this has a template that is created for it. There's a specific set of methods that StreamLabs Chat Bot is going to be watching for. And essentially it's going to call these methods on it. Hey Bokyo, welcome. And those methods are as follows. There is an init method. This is called when your program initializes, so it's called one time. The next thing is this execute method, and this actually gets processed anytime there's data that's happening. So this is not just messages, it's not just whispers, it's not just commands. This is anytime there's like a thing that has happened and the bot has received data from Twitch. So anytime Twitch sends this thing data about like anything, it comes through here. So that's why we need some safeties on, is this a chat message? Because we might respond to something that's not a chat message. So, because the bot gets additional information. So anytime the bot gets information from anywhere, it runs this. So hence, we have to do a little bit of safety. But this is where we're going to do the primary work for our program. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. So tick, this one's just called just constantly. So if you just want to be able to do stuff on a regular basis, so let's say you were doing something that involved like the creation of currency or something like that over time, this one is just repeatedly getting called. I recommend you just return, because have it here so you remember that it's a thing you can do, but just return for now. Parse is a special one. So remember I talked about those parameters and we had those $ values in the custom commands that we can do. If you want to do that kind of work in your custom script, you do that here. So this is creating your own parameters, so your program can do it. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is this. We're just going to return back parse string for now. Okay. This is just a reload of the settings. That is unloading. We're not doing anything for that, and that is when your code gets. So when your script gets toggled on or off. So let's take a look at that. So it's this checkbox. When that is enabled or disabled, it will call this function here. So if you need to do something, like clean up resources or something like that when your program gets shut down, that's how you do that. So we want to simplify a couple of things. First off, we're not sending out any kind of event stuff, so I'm going to nuke this. So we'll just clean that up. And this is looking for some kind of a parameter, checking cooldown, etc. All right, I won't worry about that, but again, that's where we're going to do our work. I do not want us to do weird overwriting stuff in the init. And let's give our script a name. So we called this the Sith detector. Our website. We need a website. So let's go with this as our website. There we go. The creator is DevChatter. And the description is Sith detection game. So we'll do a basic Sith detection game with this. I mean, it's not going to be much game, it's just going to be a fun little thing. But that's what we're going to create. And it should be an interesting one. Okay. So git status, git add. So we will add in that change. Wait a minute, what's going on? Oh, did I change this one by mistake instead of this one? Oh, VS Code, you piece of junk. I think VS Code kept this alive. I hadn't even noticed the extra one was there. Okay. Status? So this has been modified. Okay, cool. Alright, so git add that script, git status. Alright, so this script got added, and if we want to take a look at the changes, we could do that in VS Code and actually look at a compared version. So you'll see we modified some of those values, we removed some of the stuff that it was doing. So we basically took the boilerplate and cut out the stuff that was doing something in the boilerplate program. Update script info remove not our code. All right, so we remove the stuff that we're not keeping, is the short answer on that. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do, nobody want, yes, S&B, that is right, the rock, paper, scissors game is rigged. All right, so we now have, so this is still called template script until I reload, and then you'll see it's called Sith Detector, Sith Detection Game right here. Still has the old settings, so let's figure out what we want to do with those, and we'll create our own settings. So we'll jump back over here. Now, the nice thing about this boilerplate is they came up with an example that used various different controls. So they have text boxes, they've got drop downs that have this set of values. So they have, again, another text box. This one's a slider, and you'll see that it has minimum and maximum values as well as a default. And then this last one here is also a text box. So let's play with a couple of things and just show you how this works, because, again, this is educational, so why not? So the first thing is, I'm going to name this one, congratulations, S&B, you have made it onto the thing. So we'll name that one S&B. And since Andre decided to play the rock, paper, scissors, he'll get that one. And this one will be Brendan. And let's duplicate the Brendan one, because, you know, there's more than one Brendan in this chat right now, so... I need to fix the spacing in here. So we're going to call this one Info2. Alright. Yeah, the template is really good for example code. Oh, Splinter wants one. Alright, congratulations, Splinter. There you go. Congrats. Alright, let's go ahead and do a reload. So now if we look at our settings, you'll see that it has grouped the settings. So that's actually what that did. So notice I changed the grouping, and it creates a grouping for each one of those. So S&B now has this set of settings. Andre has that one. Brendan has these two. Splinter has the cooldown, apparently. And then Core has that one. So you can do a single one and it will put it all in one group, or you can separate them out if you need to. So I love the fact that they did that, because you really didn't need to, but it is way nice if you have some complex settings. So that is one of the better things in there about the way that this was implemented. So some great stuff. I really do like that. So anyway, let's put these back all to core real fast. Core, core, core. Okay, let's make these our real ones. So first off, what commands do we want to do? So I called this a Sith detector, which I technically could have just made it an anything detector, and we could have allowed them to customize the command, but meh. Maybe we'll do that eventually. Why don't we make this one Sith found message. Okay, we want a oh, and you know what? This spacing thing is bugging me, so VS Code doesn't two-space this stuff. It doesn't like that. So now spacing should not be a problem. I guess I might have been able to do prettify, but either way. Okay, so Sith found message. And this one will be so this will be Sith message, this will be Jedi message, and the value of this is going to be, I don't know, welcome to the, let's see, my, dark side friend. Do we capital dark side? No. We'll just say, how about Sith friend? Welcome, my Sith friend. Let's see. You're a, Jedi Knight. A. Alright, there we go. So Jedi found message, Sith found message. So that is the Sith message and the Jedi message. And this is response given if user is found to be a Sith. And this one is going to be the response given if they were found to be a Jedi. We do not need permission for this right now. So I made that the response. We're going to get rid of the cooldown as well, so we're going to simplify drastically. And actually, let's make this the command. So type is going to be text box. Value is going to be exclamation point detect. Label is going to be, yeah, command works. And this is the command that triggers a Sith detection. Alright. All those are in core. Let's have a look. We're going to do a reload scripts, and when we load this, we can see exclamation point detect, you're a Jedi Knight, and welcome my Sith friend. Okay, we need one other thing that I deleted, so let me just back up a little bit. Cooldown, yeah, that's the one we'll save. Okay. Cooldown, come on in, buddy. There you go. So we don't really want cooldown. Always two there are. Okay, so what do we want to make the odds of finding a Sith? So we'll say Sith odds. And we will make this start at about 10. Now people are going to be allowed to customize these, that's why there's settings. But we'll set the default at 10%, and we'll say the minimum is 1 and the maximum is 100. Which actually, do we want to make it 0 to 100? I think we do. Which... Is that the... Is it 0 to 100? 0 to 100? Yeah, it should be 0 to 100, I think. I don't know, maybe I'll mess up my math, but it doesn't matter. We'll go with that. We'll make the ticks be 5. So you can go on that, but you can't get more specific than 5. Okay, so this is going to be a slider, and we're going to say odds of... We'll just say Sith odds. Odds of any... of a person being found as a Sith. Okay, so there we go. Let's reload again. So Sith odds, and again we said it was an increment of 5, so notice the slider does increments of 5, so that's what we want. So we can leave that there. I'm not going to save the settings just yet. What is this? Oh, you started reading the Codex Iliya. That is awesome. Yeah, so interestingly, I was thinking about discussing books at some point during the stream, because it seemed like people did enjoy that conversation. Though I was actually going to point out some technical books this time, I think. Although I could talk about some non-technical books as well, because I do have some other books that I really do enjoy. So Jim Butcher is a fantastic author. I really like his writing style. So that's the author of the Codex Iliya series that S&B is referring to. He writes, his books are generally just fun. So, like, they're enjoyable reads. So, not saying they're like the greatest literature to have ever been created, but they're good. Okay, so that seems to be working, so let's go ahead and do a commit. So we're gonna go ahead and add that, and we're gonna say commit set up the UI configuration. Let's say initial UI configuration. So we now have the initial UI configuration in place. Let's go ahead and try some things out. So so I did this, but I did not update over here, so that is my mistake. So I want to talk about this settings file that the boilerplate gave us. So what it did is, so it's got this little try, we'll say try catch because, Miha, we're going to do C# in other streams, don't worry. We don't rip C# here. We're just doing a one-off Python stream. We will be back to C# later. Okay, so the way that this code works, basically this is just a boilerplate, just settings, reload, save class that exists. It's pretty simple, and the settings are saved as JSON data, so that's actually all it's doing is just yanking it out of JSON from these files. So this is so a with, for those that don't know Python, if you're over from C# or something like that, because I know a lot of our viewers here are, think of this kind of like a using statement, the with on here, so think of it that way. The try except, again, that's just a try catch block, just different name on that one. And every time you see these like def something or other with a semicolon at the end, this is just defining a method. That's all this is. And remember, everything in Python is white space sensitive, so all of these indentations that we've got, so everything inside the reload method is indented one indentation over. So these are inside of the reload method, these are inside of the save method, these are inside of the try, these are in the accept. So that's the trick with Python. It's just always based on the white space. So remember I said that the with is kind of like a using statement. So if you're used to C#, again, it's usually inside the curly braces is the scope of the value that's getting used. Well, in this, it's everything that's indented over. So that's what's inside of it. So in here, we have access to f. And f is the variable that we have stored this in. So we took that value, stored it in f, and it is accessible right here, and then it gets closed up. And thank you for jumping in with the F# information there, Fuel Snable. Yeah, so there are a lot of languages that do this kind of thing. I just wanted to point it out for anyone that's in C# and isn't familiar with this. Okay, use T4 for that. Yes, white space sensitive languages and the indentation, everything like that. It's not actually that difficult for you to get used to because we did it that way anyway. So almost every programmer was always writing their code that way to begin with. Okay, so what do we want to change? The first thing, let's get these default values set up. So if there happens to be an error with loading this data, I want to make sure that we have a series of defaults. So we're going to make that exclamation point detect. 10 was the value anyway. Cool. And we'll put in this one for the Jedi message. And put in this one for the Sith message. So there we go. So now if there's an exception when it tries to load in that data, it will just use these default values. Yeah, Fuel Snable, yeah, you don't need hurrahs to mention F# here. I have been to Barcelona a few times. It's a nice place. It's usually not stressful when I'm there because I'm usually not working. That probably has something to do with the fact that I don't speak either Spanish or Catalan, so my ability to do work there is rather limited. Non-English speaking places that I can actually get any work done pretty much consists of the German-speaking world, as that's the only non-English language that that I can speak well enough to actually, work in a place. So, Germany, only place where I've done that kind of stuff. All right. let's go ahead and, whoops, not that one, this one. Let's go ahead and add in these changes. Set, these are not the defaults, these are like the backup values. Welcome, developers, 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 developers. Welcome, developers. Glad to have you all here. We're doing some interesting stuff today. So welcome, greetings, little Bobby and friends. We're glad to have you here. You're welcome to stay as long as you don't try to SQL inject any of our database tables, and especially not the students table. That is critically important information. So don't do any of that. Mampersat, if you are wondering, the project we're doing today, we're doing a one-off little project, and you can see the information right there. So that is actually what we're doing today. So no information on the project just yet. We started this literally at the beginning of this stream. So yeah. So this is set up the backup, set backup values for settings. So welcome everyone, glad to have you here. Genre Shinobi, welcome. And Mampersat, welcome. Rambling Geek, hello, hello. I don't know if you were just saying hi to me for the first time or saying hi to everybody coming in from Robert Table Stream, but glad to have you here. And S&B rolling out the nice Chatosaurus, hello, greeting there. So welcome everyone. We are doing a little bit of Python today, which is a bit of a different one for us. We are usually a C# and JavaScript stream here, but we do believe in other languages as well, so hence we are doing some Python, as we're doing a custom script for StreamLabs Chat Bot. So normally on the stream we build our own custom chatbots from scratch in C#. We've done like 3 or 4 of them on our stream over our year and a half of doing DevChatter streams. This is our 220th episode, by the way, and yeah. I decided let's show everybody how to just add like their own custom features to an existing bot rather than writing their own from scratch. Oh, Splinter, you asked your question perfectly. You asked, did I know how to speak French? So when I was 2 years old, I started taking French lessons. I continued taking French lessons for another few years. That is the last time I was learning French. Consequently, somewhere in my subconscious, I might remember some French. Maybe. But no, I don't actually speak French. I wouldn't be able to I can't understand any French currently. So German and English are the only ones that I can really understand reasonably well. I can obviously understand like I know some French words and I know some Spanish words, and I can understand some things because I know enough about the roots of the languages to be able to figure out what's being said sometimes and what it has to do with. But that's the extent of that. I certainly would not speak those words on stream. I'm one of those people that would, like, as I said, I've been to Germany plenty of times speaking German, and I still won't speak those words on stream. My accent is terrible. I'm one of those self-conscious people. So, alright. So we just made these changes. We have our settings set up. Let's take a look back in the StreamLabs Chat Bot and have a look at what's here. So we're going to reload the script again. So here it is. We have these values, and I want to click Save Settings. Did it work? Yes, it did. Hooray! Okay, so here is the cool thing. So Save Settings ran, and it put them in here. So here are our values stored nicely in this settings folder. So these are the values that we saved. Over here is the values as well. What's the difference, you might ask? Well, this is JavaScript creating an object. This is straight up JavaScript object notation. So it has actually written both instances of this for different parts of the application to be able to use it. So values saved, awesome. We have settings. Now here's the problem. Uh-oh, it just created them here. So let's, so that means that Git is watching these. I don't want Git storing my, settings that I happen to use for this instance of the program, so let's tell it to ignore them. So we're going to add that to the git ignore. So let's open up the git ignore file, and you'll see it's right here, looking like that. That's not what we want. So I want to tell it, hey, just ignore that whole settings folder, please. And when I look over here, yay, it's ignoring the settings folder. So I'm going to make a commit that says ignore the settings folder. Because that is, stage the changes, and then commit. I'm not used to using that command line there in the VS Code. I'm not using that. I'm used to using either command line or one of the other GUI applications that I usually use. Okay, so what do we got in here? Your second language is French. That's awesome, Splinter. Makes me wonder, do you live in Canada or something? I'm trying to think of where French would be a second language. I mean, it could just be anywhere. You might learn French as a second language, but just taking a guess. Probabilities. I speak German. No. We're not. No. We're not going down that rabbit hole. I'm sticking to English. Yeah, okay. That would work too. That is another. So the funny thing is, there are actually a lot of places that you get that kind of effect where there was a French involvement for long enough periods of time that yes, it is a language there as well. So either way. Yeah, so Fuel Snapple, that is correct. So French is one of the more common second languages. The obvious most common second language is English, which that should be obvious to, like, it's one of those, like, is a second language? Yeah, that is very clear. Like, you can go around the world, and I'm betting I could get on any subway anywhere in the world, and there is someone that speaks English there. Like, I don't think I could really go almost anywhere and not find one person that speaks English. I think it's kind of crazy. I specified subway because I wanted to go with reasonably populated areas, because obviously if you go to remote locations, yeah, you're gonna have it missing. But yes. And in some places, you might, like, if you start speaking English, they might not respond to you. That doesn't mean that there isn't someone there that speaks it. There are over 140 different dialects of English. Yeah, Copper Beardy, I wouldn't be surprised by that. It is a widely varying language. So anyone that's actually listening to how I speak can probably figure out roughly where I'm from in the world. I don't know if you all notice this, but you'll hear me say, oh, which is a dead giveaway for the region of the world that I'm in, because there's only one place that says "oh," and it's not a single state. It is a region of the United States where we are pretty much the only ones that say that, and we say it frequently. Nope, I am definitely not in the UK. My accent will give that away. Frackburg is correct. I am in the Midwestern part of the United States. And that is a dead giveaway on the accent, and there are actually a couple of words that I use that are so local that you could narrow down to like the city that the small city, like, basically you could peg me down to a community that has fewer than 1 million people, just based on a handful of words and phrases that I will use that are not used anywhere else in the world. So like, there are like things where it's like yes, it's not. It's like, yeah, only that this is the only area in the world that uses those exact terms for those things. So you can really narrow it down. Yeah, fewer than 1 million people. Yeah. I'll be honest, you've never heard the OPE thing outside of Indiana. Oh yeah, no, Frackburg. It's not just Indiana. It's all the states around you. We all do it. You're not the only ones. Because, let's see, I've definitely heard it from people in Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio. I've heard it from people in Minnesota as well. Like, there's just all of this, all the areas around the Great Lakes have some of those. A bunch of words, yes. There you go, Mamperset. No, I'm not really that secretive about, like, where in the world I am. I think there are a lot of people here that know roughly where I am. Robert Tables, oh, you're Indiana. Nice. I did not know that. You've picked up ope over the years. It mixes with your southern twang. Nice. So nothing like a southern twang with Midwestern words. Splinter, you just started in VB.net, and is it a dead language or what? Oh, Splinter? The short answer to that question of is it a dead language? Dead? No. Not growing? I caution people from choosing VB.net. And I say that not because it's a bad language. Exactly. So as Robert mentions, COBOL isn't even a dead language. So VB is getting used by a reasonable number of people. Not alive, yeah. No, so the idea is there are a number of languages, VB included, that are going out of favor. And I phrase it that way because a lot of the framework development that Microsoft is doing doesn't even support VB. And so what that means is while they are still working on the language, while they do support it in a lot of other places, it's not getting included in everything. So if you're going to use VB, just remember, some of the stuff on the Microsoft platform will not be available to you. Whereas if you did C#, it's basically all going to be available to you because that's their default one. So I know a lot of people that C# and F# are the languages they use because C# is the hey, it works everywhere, and F# is a language of choice for them that they really like. So if you're on the Microsoft stack, I recommend picking up C#. That being said, if you are working on a VB.NET project, it absolutely works. It is a perfectly fine language, and that then is a preference. So there are a lot of people that like it, and I can't really argue too much against it because, hey, preference is preference. Okay, New Hampshire, I'm guessing is what the NH was. And the really long O in soda. What's soda? You talking about like carbonated water, Frackberg? Is that what you're talking about? You're confusing people. You sound very Welsh, but you're actually English. Oh, yeah. There's some really really tough accents to figure out. Starting to pick up due to army. You're English, but you speak some Welsh. That's fun. Being used does not equal should be used. That is a good point. So like some of the things people use it for, they probably should switch to C#. Yeah, so as what Fuel Snable mentions there is that there are a lot fewer jobs programming in VB than there are in C# or a lot of other languages. So I would caution anyone that wants to get a job picking VB unless they really love VB, because the jobs do exist. Compared to JavaScript, every other language is dead. JavaScript is picking up quite a bit. That is fair. Fuel Snable, soda, pop, or Coke from this. Yeah, exactly. You got that right, Frackberg. Gorilla TV, hello, welcome. JavaScript is everywhere. Yes, everyone should actually, like if you're a developer today and you're doing any kind of web development or anything like that, you should absolutely pick up JavaScript, even if you want to do, so as SNB mentioning Blazor there, even if you think you're going to do Blazor or something like that, knowing JavaScript well enough to be able to read it is absolutely a critical thing. Gorilla TV, what are my thoughts on Linux? It's perfectly fine OS. People want to run it? Great. I actually used to run Linux back in forever ago. I actually used to be a one of those weird people that. So let's talk operating systems. So back in the day, I actually used to work on. So when I would go into work, I had a. My station was actually a Mac OS system that I used when I was working a long time ago, and then at home I actually would dual boot Windows and Gen 2 Linux. Gen 2 Linux was actually my primary OS, but I obviously needed Windows in order to game, because I'm sorry, if you do any PC gaming, you're on Windows, period. Like that has been the answer forever. Yeah, so Gorilla TV, to answer your question of what distribution I used, Gen 2 Linux is the one that I used. And as I pointed out, Linux is a perfectly good operating system. So is Mac OS and so is Windows. They're all good at different things, and it really comes down to what you're doing, just what your preferences are. Linux is your first choice. You got to do iPhone dev though, so you cannot do So that's why I point out, like, you can really choose, like, you can dev on any machine. Like, at the end of the day, we need text files and the ability to, run some compilers or interpreters or something like that. I mean, that's pretty much all we need. We need we need a basic IDE and we're done. So there really is Windows has finally gotten around to getting some better window management than it had before. Linux had great window management in all kinds of, in many aspects a long time ago. I always laughed because, as I said, I used Mac OS, and I laughed because it's like, oh look, they got the multi-desktop thing, and I was like, I've been using that on Linux forever. Like, they had that for a long time. And now Windows finally has that same concept, but hey, they all eventually get all the stuff that's cool. So, that's why I point out, like, a lot of it is just, hey, what's the other guy doing that's cool? Because Windows has some good stuff as well that they've done over the years. So it's personal preference on things. Unless you're talking about native stuff, you can technically do all your development in a Docker container on any OS. Exactly, Robert. As long as the stuff that you're doing runs in Docker, you absolutely can. So Docker containers specifically that's one of the reasons why .NET Core was so important to the Microsoft development stack. Is yes, you want to be able to run your CSharp code on Docker so that you can get away with that. Yes, like the functions copy and move. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Windows all the way, but you did some ethical hacking courses in Love Cali, which is such a small. Yeah, so the rumors. Gorilla, it wouldn't like. I find that a weird one, but it is technically possible. And yes, VS Code is a fantastic IDE, a big fan. It's got its problems, but it does work well. Okay, so let's make this work. So we wrote this thing. It's got some stuff. We've got some settings that we can adjust. If we do this and we save it, we take a look. You'll see it is saving our values. So hooray! This feature works. Okay, so we have our settings. Let's make it do something. So how do we do that? Well, this is where we write Python, which is, as I said, not anymore my a language of common use for me. We had some discussions about programming stuff, operating systems, things like that, programming languages, Suna. But we also set up a basic custom script here in the StreamLabs Chat Bot. So I want to do a couple of things. First off, I want to do a quick Google search for StreamLabs Chat Bot custom script, because I want the official documentation. Actually, what am I doing? The official documentation is this wiki page that I'm already on. Okay, so we went to this URL to grab the... and Gorilla TV, thanks for that follow, by the way. We came here to grab the boilerplate code from this GitHub repository. But I also want to show you the basic stuff. So this is some of the information that I already went over with you, which is how we create this. Mamperset, thank you very much for that follow as well. This is how we set up our project. So we created this, and then we did our UI. But now I want to talk to you about the object. So this is what's actually going on in the code, and this will help us use it. So first off, the data object. So if we look, you'll see that the argument that we receive in this data parameter here, the arguments are going to be data that has whether or not this is a chat message, we can get access to the parameters, etc. And you can see all that information right here. So we can get access to the user, their name, we can get the message they sent in. We can also get the raw data of the message. This is critically important for some things. This is actually going to be like the full IRC data that has all of the metadata of this message. This is critically important for some of the code that we write. Then you can see like service. I don't know why service type is listed twice, guys. And then there's a couple of other things, like is it a chat message, and then is it raw data? Is it from Twitch? Is it from YouTube? So you'll notice that they allow this bot to connect to Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, and Discord. So you can check all those. You can check to see if it was a whisper. And you can get all the parameters. Now, it's kind of annoying that parameter access is always through these methods. Instead of having like a index access, but you do what you can. This is what they gave us, so good enough. So let's go ahead and start with a. We'll write our own if statement. So we're going to say data.isChatMessage because that was the first one, and data. What was it? Is from Twitch, I think is what it was called. And data.message, something about the message. Then we're going to say parent.sendStreamMessage. You said the magic word. And now what I want to do is I want to say else parent.sendStreamMessage. You did not say it. Okay, now before someone yells that I've messed something up, I have indeed messed something up. So here's what I'm going to do. This check, I'm going to flip. So I'm actually just going to put it up here, and I'm going to say if data is a chat message. So we're going to say if that or it's not from Twitch. So if it's not a chat message or if it's not from Twitch, just go ahead and return because we only want to respond to chat messages from Twitch. So we're going to ignore everything else. Oh, and Suna, in case you didn't guess, not only do I have the overlay turned on, but I actually have Interactive 7 turned on, so you can change this menu color as well. So overlay colors are actually controlled. So for anyone that didn't know, and you're watching the stream, notice that the overlay has turned blue. That's because Suna said blue in there, but you can actually type in any color or any hex code, and that value will change. So any color that is, I should say it's any .NET color. Pro tip, I use .NET colors for that, so you can look up what the names are. Suna mods, yeah, of course i7 works for stuff out of Final Fantasy VII. So now it's orange, and Suna can actually show you how to change that one. Yeah, see? So Suna just actually changed that menu's color, which is kind of funny, actually. Yep. See, aren't I a crazy person? I give chat control of things. All right. Oh yeah, see, Robert Tables did like an actual hex color. Yep. So this one here is the menu command, and when you change this one, you specify 4 colors, and that is the corners top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, in order. So you specify those colors, and you can actually change them all. Blue drop table colors. Nice. Mampersat, you win. You win. That's good. Yeah, no, S&B, I am aware that the Michael Jolly is a crazy person. I have known that for a while. In fact, I always go in and, what is it, Hot Dog Shop? Is that the one? And I think I get, like, shamed for that, but I don't care. I don't care. Hot Dog Shop. It's kind of like the people that come in here and they type in lime. Actually, this here, shield your eyes, everyone. Oh, lime! Yeah. We'll change those colors. Yeah. So the cool thing is you can actually random the colors in that one as well. So it will actually randomize the four corners and display a very strange color palette on that menu. Okay, so if it's not from Twitch, it's not from that, we're going to do that. So I'm going to do this in the simple way, and I'm going to say... what's the word we're going to look for? Sith in message.lower. You said the magic word. Cool. So we're not using any of our variables yet. We're not doing anything like that. I'm just going to run this bot, and we're going to take a look at what happens when we do that. So we're going to jump over here. Here is our program. We're going to run this. So let's head over into the console. Now, I had this open. Ooh, I do still have it open. Test. Oh, I didn't turn it on. Derp. Enabled. Helps if you actually turn your code on. Okay, so clear out those scripts. It's enabled. Oh, that one doesn't have any logging, that's why. So Sith. Haha, I said the magic word. Jedi. You did not say it. So there you go. Splinter, the reason why you can't do that is so this bot I don't actually have running in our main chat. This is actually running over in a different chat. So that's why you're not seeing that one. But it does seem to work. Andre, that's actually not the rainbow command. But if you want rainbow, it really does exist. So congratulations, Andre. Oh, no, did SNB start it already? Is it rainbowing? It doesn't look like it's rainbowing. Or did it finish already? There it goes. Yeah, maybe SNB triggered it and I didn't notice. Oh yeah, it finished. Okay, yeah. There, it's going again. Because who doesn't like rainbow? Alright. Where was I? I was over here. Okay, so clearly this works. You can detect the word Sith. So let's go ahead and say script settings dot command. I think I called it command. Let's confirm. Command, yep. So, and let's just lower this just in case someone was like really, really, you know, really silly. So right now I'm just gonna look for it anywhere in there. Now I could write this to say like it had to start with it, but why not? Can you do one? Can you do a 1 for you? Splinter, what did you want me to do for you? I missed what you were asking about. Parent, you said the magic word. You did not say it. Okay, so we've changed how this is supposed to run. So let's go back to the scripts. Let's come out of here. This should have reloaded, I think, automatically, but let's find out. So it is now looking for detect. Ooh, hang on. It's not finding it. It's not replying at all. Hey, Miha said it. Good job, Miha. See, Miha wins. Did we have a... Ooh, wait, hang on. My settings has no attribute command. What did I call it? Command? Settings module? Command, it's right there. What you smoking? Command. Command? Yeah. It's called command. Did I typo? Script settings. Is that file? Script settings dot command. Script settings has no command. Sorry. I mean, maybe Splinter. We can maybe do something like that, but we're actually not, like, this is not what it's supposed to do in the long run anyway. We're going to change it to not do that. Script settings. Command. Settings.json. It has a command. Let's reset all that and find out what's going on. Maybe there was another error. Oh, you know what? I should have actually read all the rest of the errors just to see if there was a problem there. So I typed in some code, and here we go. My settings object has no attribute command. Is it getting confused by that? I wonder. So we reload the script. We have no errors yet. No attribute command, but it does. It's right here. It loads in this object. It absolutely has command. I put it right there. Self.command is the, and otherwise it's going to load it out of here, and that is very clearly command. Well, I'm apparently smoking something. All right, here's what we're going to do. Suna. Oh, no, it doesn't work when you do black. What are you doing? What are you doing? Turn that back on. Suna's messing with our overlay here. He hid the thing with the... yeah, it does what you want. Okay, so I'm going to actually steal some code from myself real fast. Reveal and explore. As I said, I've written one of these before, so I'm actually going to jump into my other code. Can I just open this in another code window? Apparently I can do that. Oh, yeah. Let me jump down here, and we're going to grab these two. So I'm going to steal two little helpers that I made for myself. I made a log and a message. And the reason I made log is because of this. Every time you log a message out, it wants you to tell it what custom script you're from, and so I don't want to do that every time. It's annoying, so I just made it so you can just say log, and then parent.sendStreamMessage was too long for me, so I said send message. And it's a little bit shorter on both of those, so I was thrilled by those little helpers that I created for myself. And then the last thing, I want to take a look. Did I do anything weird with the settings stuff? So I create the script settings, and then how do I use it? In init, I set it equal to that. How am I doing it here? Script settings is my settings, and then in there, I do that. So I configured this up here, which I think is smart, actually. I'm going to set that value immediately to the settings file, because I don't know why I wouldn't. Like, I don't know why I would do it here. And then I also like these methods I created here. So I'm actually going to borrow this as well. So I made a little helper that just does a ensure local directory exists. So all it does is it literally just checks it and it says, hey, if this wasn't here, go ahead and make it, because we want it to exist. So creates a directory if the directory wasn't there. So basically it just says, hey, given a directory name, go ahead and create a path, a full path out of it. Splinter, have a good one. See ya. And then it just says, hey, if it isn't there, go ahead and make the directories for it. And this will actually get nested down, create them. So if you're missing any of them in the line, it will get rid of that. I do like, to be honest, this purple styling on the stream does look really nice. So thank you everyone for making a nice bit of colors. It's nice when the chat, you know, helps you with that instead of going around and like liming you all the time. Although I say that and then I have fun doing it to other people too. So okay, so we're changing those to be send messages. And then I want to do a couple of quick logs so that I can see when this gets initialized. So we're going to say init called and init ended right before the return. And since we already grabbed the file, we don't need to do that. So here's what we're doing. Let's toss that. I think this works now. I think what was going on is, I believe this settings file variable, because we were initializing it to the empty string, I think that's what was going wrong. And thank you, Mampersat. I figured if I mentioned people turning it lime, someone would do that. Pink might not look bad actually with this color palette, because it is very subtle as it goes around the overlay. But okay, let's have a look. So let's clear up the errors. Let's go into the log. Let's clear the log. Let's go ahead and reload the scripts. So there it is. If we check out the log file, you'll see that we have an init called for each program, so we can see which script ran it. And then if I take a look at the console and I say foo bar, we are almost guaranteed to see an error because I'm not seeing what I'm expecting. My settings object has no attribute command. Still not getting it. Oh, that's too bad. The rigged rock paper scissors game. Good job, S&B. Why is it not, So it's inside the execute function. Here's what we're gonna do. I want it to log out this thing, so what we're gonna do is this. So we're gonna say, let's do an initial log entry. So we're gonna say execute called. Then we're gonna say execute called execute is chat message. Now down here, in case we ever get to the return, we're gonna say execute ended. Where else do we want to log? So those will send out messages, so we'll see if those happen at all. But because I want some information and I know there is a problem, I'm actually going to say log script settings. Now, I think, whoops, str, I think if I do this, it will convert that to a string and allow me to print that out to the log. So Python's a little bit weird with its casting as far as like a C# developer is concerned, because in C#, if it can convert like there are a couple of conversions that'll just happen automatically, and that's to string. So, and by automatically I mean a lot of our methods are designed to be able to take in objects and just convert them to string in almost all of our default libraries. That's not really the language that's doing that. That is just that our libraries are written such that it just does it. Hey, WorldWake, you made it. Yeah, we're doing a little bit of Python on stream. So trying to explain some of the differences, because C# developers are very used to just, you know, console write-lining or logging an object, and they're like, yeah, and it'll automatically call my toString. Well, won't it? And it's like, now our toString isn't always implemented, but it will just call it. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to jump over to the logs. We're going to reset that. Let's go ahead and make sure everything is reloaded. And we check the logs. Okay, so they did all their inits, and we're going to send in a chat message. And when we check these logs, there we go. So my settings object, it didn't display anything that was on it. We'll show how to show that. So execute was called, it was a chat message, and we tried to display the object, but we don't get to see it because it just, so this is like what we'd get in C#, because we didn't tell it how to write that object. There are a couple of things we could do here, but I'm going to do this to start it with. I'm going to say dir, because I just want to see what properties are on it. So I'm going to reset that and reload this. Go back to the console again. We're going to put some gibberish in there again. Take a look at the logs. Execute is, wait, what? Execute is what? Oh, son of a... stir. Do I need to do that? I bet I needed to do that. I bet I needed to do that. Did I have an error about it? I bet I had an error about it. Yeah. Expected a string, got a list. Yay. That's what I mean. Like, we're just used to, yeah, just call it, throw in the collection. It'll two-string it because a collection can two-string nicely. Well, no, not in this language. Python actually wants you to give it the actual object it's expecting. Every afternoon, I could string in the log function, and that would probably make it a little bit nicer. You're correct, every afternoon. Since we always wanted to two-string it, we should probably just two-string it there. That is a great suggestion. So let's have a look. Alright, so what do we have? We have all the wrong values. Because I'm an idiot. Probably. Is that because they're just named settings? Did I... I bet this is it. Hang on. I bet it's getting confused. And I think I know why. So we're going to make this Sith detect settings. So we're going to create a Sith detect settings in here. I think that's the problem. Maybe. I'm not totally certain how it got that, because that has the values of my other one. Well, didn't like that one bit. Oh, whoops. Had to fix my import. Wait, it seriously wasn't just the import? From settings module, import Sith detect settings. Right? Isn't it right there? So first off, I'm going to do the suggestion of every afternoon that we should do. And we will string whatever the message was that we received. Thanks, S&B. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to call this the Sith detect settings file. What? Sure, you can install that package so that we can do some refactoring in Python. I hope that works. Sith detect settings file. I really hope this isn't doing what I'm currently suspecting it might be doing. Sith detect settings. Hey, Jen's Duck, you made it. Welcome. Have a quacktastic day, everyone. No, I'm not planning on wearing my hat on stream. I don't wear hats on stream. Cannot import name Sith detect settings. Yeah, so it's not it right here though. You know what? Let's do this. Wonder if this is the problem. Sith detect settings module is what we'll call it. Just to try to get that, import that from that, so we'll do... Okay, so that is clearly using this new code. Line 37. Well, it's in now. Init is called. And then it fails on line 37. We're going to call my settings on this. Oh, whoops. Maybe that's what I meant to call it. We'll switch it back and see if that was the problem. Reset that. Reload the scripts. So it is loading. Init called and it's bombing on something. Set the text settings referenced before assignment. Oh, because of the same name. That's the problem. Yeah, we're going to switch it back to my settings. And see if it is fine because it imported from a separate module file. Wondering if maybe it got confused because the module files were the same name. So I'm not actually sure at what level they're running all of this code. So I don't know how the plugins are actually working behind the scenes, which is some of the confusion. Lucky, hey, welcome. Thank you for the I guess, Tier 1 sub, it says. Glad you're here. Someone has us online. Thanks, Mampersat and Miha. Worldwake. Wait, hang on. You finally got enough locals with your website. Congratulations on deploying the site, Jen's Duck. How are you nowadays? Oh, Worldwake. We're doing reasonably well. Glad you made it here to the stream. It has been a while, you're correct. You know, Suna, you can complain about the lime, and you didn't just do this. Yeah, I don't currently have a hype emote, Suna. No hype emote right now. However, if you want hype emotes, you can just do that, and you can see a whole bunch of hype emotes spammed all over the screen. And thank you, Dr. Mumba, for adjusting that color. Yeah, I agree, Suna. At some point, I was really, like, I was much closer to partner before. We used to average about 50 viewers during our streams, which, you know, I think Twitch wants, like, 75 to be your average before you can apply, but we used to get a lot more, but I have not had the time to stream as much as I want to lately. Okay, so execute actually fired. Let's try type in a chat message. You did not say it. Detect. Hey, it's working now. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and commit these changes then, because there were a bunch. So let's get changing. We are going to ignore whatever this is. Add to the git ignore. So all the VS Code stuff, yeah, we're ignoring everything that's in the VS Code folder. Done. So this and this. Actually, you know what? I don't want to just. Yeah, okay, you know what? Here. Why is that still open? I don't want that open. There we go. What do we got? So we fixed up settings and tweaked the code and added some helpers. So fix settings and add helper methods. That's a reasonable change. Okay, so yeah, the exactly. Yeah, so Lucky's is absolutely correct there. So having the 75 is in order to apply, which really is just a restriction in that they don't want to have to manually look at a lot of applications. So that's just a barrier that they can just say, we're not even going to look if you haven't reached this metric. And then once you reach that metric, they still need to decide that they want to make you partner. So there have been a number of people that have reached that number and applied and got rejected for one reason or another. It could be that they don't think that, you know, like, you've established enough community or whatever. Like, that's when you get into the hand-wavy territory. So, don't know. I've heard good things and bad things about the process, but we'll see. Yeah, exactly. As soon as mentioning, they judge, like, stability and things like that. Yeah, WorldWake, you are correct. Exactly. So we are stuck on Python 2.7 for this. So that is why you don't see us using any of the fancy new stuff that's in modern Python. Lucky number 7. You what? What is the? Oh, you got rejected before. I think that's what you mean by the me. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure they make it hard for a reason, because they do give some benefits to Twitch partners, and they want to make sure that they're only giving that to people that are, like, actually going to be benefiting them in some way. So the funny thing is, because of the way we did this, if that exclamation point detect is anywhere in your message, the command still triggers. You don't have to start with it. So that's the weird part about this. All right, let's go ahead and have a look again at some of this code. Fuel Snable, I have no idea why the StreamLabs Chat Bot switched from 2.7 to one of the 3 versions has taken so long. I don't know what they're running behind the scenes to make that happen. So there you go, Suna. I have no idea. Parent object. Wait, what? Okay, I wasn't looking for that, but miscellaneous? Will they give me one here? Hey, there it is. So I was pretty sure they had this super useful little thing here. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to go in here. So in this case, we're going to say Did they say the message? If so, then we're going to do it. Otherwise, we're going to do something else and just continue on. I no longer need to print that because we got it working. So instead of send a message, we're going to say, let's see, number equals that. So parent get random, and if number is less than, there's 0 through 10, so there's, yeah, is less than sith detect settings dot sith odds. Is less than that, then we're going to send message that is sith detect settings dot sith message, else we're gonna say send send message Jedi message. So we'll get a random number. If it was less than that, then we'll call that one. Otherwise, we'll call that one. That should work. Cool. All right, let me catch up on chat. Fared Link, can you help you? You're a beginner and you're stuck on some simple code. Maybe, Fared Link. If you actually have some simple code, I or someone else might be able to assist you with it. So first off, I would comment to you that if you are just running into some kind of thing, seriously, look at your error message. They're almost always helping you with something. I don't know exactly what the problem is, but also it's not really a problem-solving place. But if you are learning programming, we do have a channel in our DevChatter Discord that is about learning programming. So there are other learners there as well who may have run across the same kind of challenge you are and can help you out there. Let's see. You have a different route you're pursuing with them due to some stuff you're doing, like, for example, how some channels are partnered and never stream. Oh, yeah, Lucky is correct. So some channels can just get an automatic partnership because they're set up that way. For example, the Visual Studio channel, I believe, is a partnered channel and was a partnered channel before they did their first stream. But then again, Microsoft is pretty big. Let's see. Maybe 2 partnered channels that pull in like 8 viewers because they left their prime time. Yeah, it is nice that Twitch doesn't take away their partner status. So that is a nice thing. Okay, so send message. I'm gonna remove those log entries for now because I don't really need them, but we can put them back in if we want to see what's going on with this code. Let's run this. So we'll jump back. We're gonna reload our script, and okay, the errors are gone. Let's reload the log section as well. So there goes the log section. Reload, check the logs. Okay, we have an init for each of them, so they are running. So something that shouldn't do anything, but if I say detect, you're a Jedi Knight. Detect, you're a Jedi Knight. Detect, hey, I got one. It only took me 3 tries. That's actually not bad. So welcome, my Sith friend. So there's the odds for you. So that's all you have to do is run that, and so then that's our code working. So it does Sith detection. Sith detection, yeah, totally. So obviously, if you were going to do this as something more realistic, you might want to track who you've done a check for before, so you can mark them as yeah, end stream, totally done. Yeah, that's good. All right, so that's just actually putting in the Sith detection. So add the Sith detection. Done. So there is basic Sith detection. It works. Cool. Yay. So if you're really going to do this, what I would recommend is you do something along the lines of save those values to a file so you can keep track. So like keep a Sith file and a Jedi file or something like that, and put names in the in those. Put their usernames in there so you can keep track of who it is that is in each one of those files. Ninja Coder 88, welcome. Thank you for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Glad you are here. Hopefully everybody else liked this one. It's a little bit one-offy, but I wanted to show that you can do it this way, because me and most of the other, so like I say, I and most of the other programming streamers here on Twitch, we built our own bots, and so that's like, yeah, you can do that, but you might not want to, right? You might say like, oh yeah, I think it would be cool to play around with a bot, but I don't want to go and make my own bot. And this is a way to do your own little scripting stuff without having to do that. So you can just create one of these, and if you already know Python, cool. And even if it's a newer one, you're probably better off than some of us are jumping back into 2.7 instead of a more recent version of Python, but it does still work. I'm not sure why it has to import IronPython on this. I don't know if those are actually needed or not. It's pulling in the CLR stuff for SQLite and modules. I think this is what lets me do this. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what we're using the SQLite database for. I wasn't using one as far as I know. But maybe we're using it for something else? But those were in the boilerplate, and I didn't take them out, so let's find out. We're programmers. This is what we do. Let's break some stuff. Let's see what happens when we do that. So we've unloaded that. We're going to reload the scripts. Does it even load? Okay, it does. Did we actually need that at all? So gibberish does nothing. Okay, well, it runs without them, so we apparently don't even need those. So that's good. So OS, sys, and JSON it does use, but it did not use the IronPython and the SQLite database. So I guess those are there in case you want to use those aspects of it. I don't know. Remove module and SQLite references. Stage that and commit. Okay, cool. Anything else we want to change with that? I don't think so. I think we got everything that we were planning on doing, so that's pretty cool. So for anyone that missed it, here's actually how it gets set up. So because we put this inside the scripts folder, which the scripts folder is literally just a folder, so it looks like this on my computer. Miha, hey, thank you for the second month of the Tier 1 sub. Much appreciated. That's the funny thing, is because I am doing these on here, I guess, yeah, that's pretty good. You've been here for a bit and didn't hit the share button until now. So maybe it just popped up, don't know. But yay. So always glad to see some hype during the stream. And let me catch up on chat here for a second. Worldwake, Microsoft is pretty big. Yeah, that is an understatement. I agree. Your message was kind of irrelevant because you misinterpreted some of the message. Oh, yeah. Yep. And S&B always coming in with the hype. So this is literally all that it is. It's this folder, and it's just got a handful of files, and that lets this work. Once this is running, the program actually reads a JSON file to determine what settings to make available here. So that's what this is. And then I can configure these values to make them say whatever I want. So I called it Sith and Jedi, just because that makes it more interesting, but we could just make this any kind of detector if we want, and the concept still works. So we could definitely fix that one. I'm gonna guess Rama. Hello, welcome, greetings. I don't think I'm a software doctor, but sure, why not? What could we do with this program? What do we wanna change? We can definitely make some modifications to this, make something more interesting about it. So right now we've just said do a random chance. Do I use JavaScript? Yes, I do. For plenty of my programming is in JavaScript. I'm not sure you can be a web. So I do a lot of web development in my day job, and I do a lot of web development on Stream too. I'm not sure you can be a web developer these days without knowing JavaScript. That being said, you can program in things like Blazor, and there are other WebAssembly. There are other languages that will compile to WebAssembly and let you escape from writing JavaScript. However, even if you aren't writing JavaScript, you are still going to need to be able to read JavaScript, because there's going to be enough out there, and you might need to see, like, you know, XYZ framework, how are they doing this in such and such application that I have to work with. So you can't escape it. Let's see. Let's do this. I want to add a setting. We're going to add a setting. I have an idea. The brain is doing things. The brain is working. How do I get a... how do you become a billionaire after learning JavaScript? So that's easy. What you do is you first learn JavaScript, okay? The second thing that you do once you've learned JavaScript, create a time machine with JavaScript. Once you've done that, travel back in time and invest in companies like Apple Computer, Microsoft. Make sure you get in on the ground at Amazon. Let's see. What are some other good choices? Yeah. But the key thing being, step 1 is learn JavaScript. Step 2 is invent a time machine. That's my suggestion. If you invent a time machine, I bet you can become a billionaire. That's how Sunamods became a billionaire. I don't know if you know that. What he did was he actually used a glitch in Final Fantasy VII, and he has 1 billion gil. Oh, your time machine only goes to the future. And by the way, thanks for that follow, much appreciated. And yes, yeah, my time machine also only takes me into the future very, very slowly at like a normal flow of time pace. It's a real bummer. All right, so I'm wondering. Let's check their documentation. I want to see if they have something for me, or whether I need to do this myself. So that's a drop down. They have a color. That's a button. That's funny. It's a slider, a color picker, a drop down, a number box, a checkbox, and a text box. So it might be that our only answer is a text box, and we have to tell them to comma separate. So we'll say Sith words. Darth, Vader, Maul, Sidious. What else is a Sith name? Clearly, Snable. That's a Sith name, if I've ever heard one. So is Sunamods. Maybe it's just Suna. If Suna's in there, that is clearly Sith. Sith names. Sith keywords. Comma, separated list of Sith names. There we go. We're gonna detect Sith with this. It's gonna help us find them. If you have one of those names, you're much more likely to be Sith. Clearly, this is how it works. Okay, so we're gonna take that, and we're gonna jump into the settings file first off, and we're gonna say we're gonna do what? Isn't it like that? Yeah, there we go. There we go. So Sith words. I'm gonna copy in my initial set of Sith words right there. So that's the defaults, just in case things don't load correctly. Now inside of here, we're gonna say Sith words equals what is it? It's Sith detect settings dot Sith words, and I think they split. Yeah, exactly. And then they give the separator is that. So this should give us the list of split words, the Sith words here. Ugh. Hint: they are all called Darth something. Yeah, but I want to be able to detect either one. Beverk, which I probably just butchered your name. Welcome, thanks for following, much appreciated. Glad you made it to the stream. We know time machines are impossible, otherwise there would be a patent for time machines. Do we have any NPM packages to create a time machine that takes us to the past? No, there's no NPM package, but you can just import time travel into Python. Maybe you can go into the future and see which are the new trending companies and come back to 2019 and invest in those small startups. Yeah, Rama, that's the whole concept. Except you need to go back from here. Okay, so we're gonna grab. So those are the Sith words. Alright, so my Python's rusty. Python link all. Yeah, here we go. Thank you, someone on the internet. Where's an all? I'm wondering if I can use this. If I can get away with that in this version of Python. So I'm going to say if that... actually, I wanted to say if any, not all, any. I want to say word in data.username for word in Sith words. Okay, so this is kind of hard. This is a little hard to read for a C# developer because we go in a different order. So this concept is we're saying this is my enumerable. This is my collection. Sith words is the collection. I want to say for every word that is in Sith words, I want to see if that word can be found in their username. So let's lower that as well. Which I probably shouldn't lower here because I'm going to be doing the lowering repeatedly. I'm actually just going to do this in return for now. I know it's not the best structure of it, but I just want to test and see if the code works at all. I want to get to running it as fast as I can just so I can see if it works. With a time machine, you can double anything anyway. I think the last time I was on this channel, you lived in another country. Worldwake. Where were you before and where are you now? Do you have a kilo? You can... Your dream is to be a billionaire so you can have as many private jets and take as... Yeah, Rama, that's not necessarily the best goal. Which movie are we in? Back to the Future or Terminator? So Voight makes a really good point. It really depends on what kind of time travel you're talking about, because there are a lot of different like time travel concepts. With the multi-dimension concept, where you're creating new ones as you travel back, you can absolutely make extras, and boy are you ruining a whole bunch of timelines where you disappeared and took all the money with you on these things. Or gold or whatever it was. Reload scripts. I'm gonna reload that. Okay, we have no errors. Let's take a look at the console. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a detect. Ooh, I have a bug. I have a bug. It doesn't have a username. Okay, what's it actually called? I want to look at the data object. Capital N, it is user name. Where did I do that? User name. There we go. Derp. Derpy derp. Herp and derp. Herp a derp. Herp and derp a herp a derp. Click. 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 Reload. Bonk. Ah, I'm a Jedi Knight. Hey, Suna. Suna, you here? Suna. Suna. Suna, I need you to go into my bot's chat and send some messages. Or Fuel Snable. Fuel Snable, I think you can do it too. What do we got? I look like a professional football player? American football or rest of the world football? I would wonder. Hang on. Do. Oh, you did. Cool. Yeah, Suna. Type detect in there. Yeah, you went in here, but you didn't detect yet. You gotta do this. Yeah, there you go. See? And it'll be every time for you. See, I'm a Jedi Knight, but Suna is absolutely a Sith, which does mean that it's probably working. That's not like extensive testing of it, but hey, we did one quick check, and he definitely came back as Sith. The likelihood of that working otherwise was only like 10%. European hand-egg player. Oh, yeah. How far south do you have to move to still have summer at this time of year? Voight, I don't, where are you? In order to get, it still feels like summer where I am right now. Like, we've got our highs in the 80s, which is Fahrenheit, obviously. Otherwise, that would be like death. Could you have that detect by username color, dark colors and light color? Oh man, Suna, that's brilliant. See, this is why we love everybody. I would like you to meet Suna. Suna is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Like, oh man. Yeah, see, he's got these cool ideas. Where's the user object? Like, oh man, are we gonna check out this user object? Like, holy cow. Whoops. Log data dot user. we put the string in there, so this should work. We'll see what it gives us first. You know what? I'm going to ask it for its properties. So we're going to ask what the properties are of the user object. We're going to see if it's got color. If it has color, then we don't have to do any other work. If it doesn't have that information, we'll have to pull it off the message itself, because that is actually sent along in the message. So we can find that. That's the neat thing about it, is that I know it's in there. Oh, and there it is, Sith detect. Was this a user? This might not have been a user. But it might have told us that anyway. Unless Suna typed something. Nope. Okay. Scripts log. Scripts log? Scripts log? What? Okay. I don't know why we only have one there. Do we have bugs or something? Are we getting an error? No? No errors? Okay. I'm confused by that. Maybe user's a string. Is user a string? Is that the problem? That looks like string. Maybe this is just a string of information about the user. And that would be silly, wouldn't it? Okay. Okay. Take a look. Sith detect DevChatter bot. Yeah. Okay. So it is just the. It is. So user is apparently the same as username. I think. There must not be a different. Which means they don't give it to us. So grabbing that color is going to be a little bit difficult. What do we got? What's going on in chat? I don't know if there'd be an issue for the color changing people, though, the ones that haven't manually picked one, because it shows different to everyone. Yeah, Suna, that's true. But it'd be whatever the bot thought you were. Alright. So we need the raw data. So here's what we're going to do. Raw data. There it is. So we're going to log the raw data and take a look at that instead. So this is the actual message that comes from Twitch. This is really what we're getting here. So if we look over here, console, something, and we take a look at the script, here it is. So here's the magic. So this is actually the message that is sent to my chat client. And this is the same thing. This is the message anytime someone's chatting in Twitch. These are what's in those messages that let everyone know what's in there. So we have a whole bunch of information here. I apologize, it's kind of small, so it's a little bit hard to read here. But we've got badge info. It says badges, broadcaster, the color. So there was no color given to the. So this guy does not have a chosen color. Display name is DevChatter bot. Suna, go say something in there. Say something in that chat real fast. There's an ID for the message. They're not a moderator. That's the room ID. They're not a subscriber. That's the time it was set. There's the user ID. This is the user information, and it includes the message. So, looks like, was this Suna? Yeah, so SunaMods just sent in a message that was Testaruni. You can see that message right here. And in this, we can see that his color is D6D100. So, for example, D6D100. So we're going to change our overlay. That is now SunaMods yellow on our on that display. And we know that because that is the value that Twitch tells us is what his name is supposed to be displayed in. So they give us that color. So if I were making a chat overlay on my screen, for example, because I wanted to display that, Twitch actually gives me that color so I can display it in yellow when I display his name. So because they gave me that information, it's quite nice. So that is SunaMods yellow. So essentially what we want to do is we want to look and see how red something is. So Python HSL. Let's see if we can figure this out. Python hex to HSL. Where's... okay, so we're going to say hex to RGB because that is much more likely to just have a quick little answer somewhere. Because I just want a quick... so, Sunamods, yeah, if you type in /me, it will put the whole thing in your color. Yeah, that'll change that one to the silver thing. Okay, so... that is an interesting little way to do this. Fix that. Okay. So really, we just need this. So let's borrow this for a second. We'll make a quick little method for it. And by method, I mean function. I guess it's a method. And I guess it could have been static, too. So we'll say hex to RGB. We'll say hex. And it'll return that. This is not actually a member method. I don't know why I let it do that when I was picking the options, but hey, why not? So this was supposed to be hex according to this method. So H. So we're telling it this is base. Okay, so essentially what it's going to do is it's going to create a tuple from this set of information. So that'll get us this hex code. These are the indexes where those values are supposed to be. Looks like we're supposed to remove that value first. So we will strip that off to begin with. So H equals H and left strip off that value. Okay, so that'll give us our hex one. So if they typed in that, we will remove it. Okay. So that'll convert our hex value into RGB. Then when we were looking at this, it seemed to imply that we could convert these values. So RGB to... So that's funny that it does HLS. I'm used to hue, saturation, lightness, not hue, lightness, saturation. Just an order thing. So let's import ColorSys at the top of the file. Make sure we have access to that. So we're going to import ColorSys. And we're not going to do to HSV, we're going to do to HLS according to that. That's fine. Okay. Let's say def is color red. It's going to return back a Boolean. So we're going to say return true. Whoops, Python true. let's bring in the... So that's the code that it's going to have us do. So that's going to be the color. So we're going to say hex, actually. That's the hex color. So we're going to say RGB equals hex to RGB, taking in the hex value. That'll give us our RGB value. And then for the RGB value, it should be RGB, and what is it? I think this is how you, if I'm remembering how these work, right? I can't, oh, you know what? I could split it. I could just pull it out of the, I could pull it out of the tuple when I do that. So we'll do this. Red, green, blue. Right? Isn't that how I deconstruct the tuple in Python, if I'm remembering correctly? I think. Let's see. The way you say Suna sounds like Sona, which makes you think of Conan O'Brien? He yells Suna? I don't know Conan's bits well enough. I used to watch some Conan every once in a while. He's kind of funny. Okay. Red hues. Yeah, a red hue range. What's a good hue range for red? Kaya, say welcome. Thank you for that follow, much appreciated. At least you don't say Tasuna. Tasuna? Welcome to the stream, Tasuna. Yep. Yeah, I call you Suna instead of I say Sunamods instead of Sunamods. Which is kind of hard to say because it's not quite like you say tsunami. It's a little different. Sunamods. Sunamods, I assume, is right. Yeah, I don't know why. If it's not Sunamods, then I'm gonna have some words with you. Cause Sunamods is the better one for it. So it looks like it's all the ones right around the 0 to 3. Like it's near 0 and 360. So. Maybe we just say anything that's significantly more red than anything else. I don't know. Just all red hue. Yeah. So. I mean, I got that, like, the person saying that, but, like, what's a good range for that? Yeah, I want to find the red colors. So it's really just pegging it right around there. I think we want to give it a little, 0 plus or minus 15 and call it a day. I'm thinking you know what? Google. Can I? No, I can't do it there. Okay. So. Okay, so this is clearly very red when I do this. But can I not alter these values to adjust also? No, I want a slider. Someone give me a slider. How red is that? Can I not? I can't put in 30 there. Are you kidding me? Yeah, give me a color picker that lets me HSL change. Piece of junk. Hue, out to 30. Yeah, it'll give me the oranges. And I want the... Yeah, see? This is what I wanted. Here we go. So we'll take anything from... so... How about 345 and up? And 30 and down. So 345 and up and 30 and down. There we go. So we're going to say hue above 345 or below 30. There we go. Fantastic. That's what we want. So that'll get us hexed RGB values, and then we'll take the RGB values and we'll send them in there. And I think this, the color sys, let's have a look again. I think color sys was taking, with HSV it was taking fractions, so it's how red. So if it works the same way in all of these, we want to do 255.0 as what we divide these by. Because I'm pretty sure that our hexed RGB... Well, I didn't look at it. What's it putting them in? Base 16. So yeah, it's going to give us back 255 numbers. So we want to divide by 255 to make them a fraction of 1. So we want to get them as between 0 and 1 values. And this needs to switch to, whoops, HLS. So HLS equals that. Oh, and that actually comes out as a tuple as well when we call these. Yep, says this is a tuple, so it apparently knows what this is. And this is going to come out as probably hue, sat, light, we'll say. Which again, we're not using any of them. I wonder if there's an equivalent of a discard in... So we want to return... hue greater than or equal to 345 or hue less than or equal to 30. Our red hues. Now, the trick with this is some people could have some really dark ones because if you actually look at some of these colors we were looking at, this would count as red. So like some of these really, really black ones. I was just going to do red for now. And just say, hey, if you got red, then you're going to be a Sith. And just be done with it. So again, the simple one, and we could expand upon this concept. So we'll say is color red, and hopefully that'll work. It might have done hue not as a... it might have done it as a 0 to 1. Actually, did it do it as a 0 to 1? No, they didn't give us an example using HLS. Hang on. Okay. RGB to... Okay, so what did they do? They took the max colors administration. Nope, I can't tell what that value is going to be. So, here's what we're going to do. we're going to log the hue value. No, I'm automatically converting it to a string anyway. So we're going to log the hex value. We're going to log red, green, blue. I'm pretty sure that tuples can just be stringified. Whoops. Capital L log. And then I only care about hue, I don't care about the other ones. Okay, so we're going to try that, see what it does with it. Let's go thing. Reload. No errors. Console. Something. So oh, we're not running it. It would help if I ran it. Can I cheat? We know it's a chat message. I'm gonna cheat. Because why not? If data dot raw data dot split, where do we want to split it? We want to split it on color equals. We want to take the right half, so this is going to be the, like, right after the word color equals, we'll take that. And then that we're going to split, again, right at this, and we're going to take the first value. And then, whoops, let's do this. Color is that. Actually, I'm just going to do this. Then I'm going to say self dot. No, it's not. It's just is color red. It's static, so I don't have to do that. Color. If I build composable forms using Blazor, I don't know, Fuel Snable. I think you're cool anyway. So yeah, there's that. Okay, let's check the logs. We got nothing. We did a nothing log. Let's say color plus, just in case for some insane reason it's not a color, we're going to lower split on the word color and do that. So reset the logs, reload these just to make sure that we get fresh scripts. Type in this, jump back over to the scripts, take a look at the logs. Color is nothing. Oh, I don't have a color. That's the problem. He doesn't have a color. So yeah, it wouldn't go anywhere. But this one does, I think. No, he doesn't have a color either. Alright. Yep. I have color. There we go. Alright, so that one has color. So you spit out that. And then that last value. So that's the RGB value. This is the hue. Which is a... so it is doing a 0 to 1. So I was afraid of that. So my numbers do not help. Unless I multiply by... unless I say the hue is hue equals, let's say, times equals 360, and then let's log the hue again. Alright, so back here I had this code, and I'm going to say if is color red, return send message. Actually, we don't need to return it. We're just going to say that is red. Else send message that is not red. Alright, so we're just going to do that quick check there. See what it says. Yeah, so he has color. That's good. He is me. I have color. Color. Whoop, we might have crashed. Whoa, we totally crashed. Unexpected token, new line. Whoops, I messed up. Ah. Welcome to Python, everyone. It's kind of like in C# if you forget a semicolon. That's the equivalent right there in Python. That is not red. There you go. It's correct. My color is not red. Every afternoon. Good job. Every afternoon you're awesome, by the way. That is red. There you go. Thank you, every afternoon. That's perfect. Because that is nice. So that means it can detect a red lightsaber. No, Sunamods is not red. Sunamods is yellow. Nice. That's good. So what's interesting about that is then I think everybody can see that following the same route, you could do things like the red hues are labeled as the Sith, and the greens and the blues are the Jedi, and then you could do something where like the yellows are like gray or something like that. You could also base this on the HSL, for example. So, good stuff. Very, very fun. So I'm just trying to point out to people, this is the kind of neat thing, like, I did not have to write my own bot. I'm just sort of tying into an existing one. So, and it was not very difficult to do. I just yank out the data I'm looking for. I'm just like, here, give me the color, and I do a little bit of, wiggling it around. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Now in this, instead of multiplying by 360, I could have, of course, just, hard-coded in these values, but this is easier for my brain to understand, so I'm going to do that conversion. Because 345 to 30 makes more sense in my head. Now, what we want to do probably in the long run, if you were going to actually make this like a thing that people would use, is make these values all like settings. So you could say things like, what's the range of hues and saturations and things like that you want for a Sith, because we might have limits on the saturation and the lightness. Maybe we want it to be certain saturation, otherwise we don't consider it to be red anymore. But these types of values are all checkable. So it's good stuff. I really had fun with that. I thought that was good. Close that. Every afternoon. So every afternoon, your color was not red before. I assume you went in and changed your color to red just so we could test that. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Because you're not red everywhere. Ah, see, you're red now over here. That's what I was gonna say. Like, you're green in the chat before, so you must have switched to red just to test it. So I like that it switched it that quickly too, so we can actually see that happen. Either way, I'm hoping everybody thought that this was a cool thing. I am planning on pushing this out to our GitHub so that people can actually see this as like a sample of how to build a custom script for the StreamLabs Chat Bot. Yeah, it probably has it cached, is probably the reason every afternoon. So it's probably not rechecking your color. But yeah, I see you as red in mine, because my chat window did automatically update you when you switched. So it's hard to say what actually will trigger that. But good stuff, good stuff. Oh yeah, sometimes it does take a message or two before it switches. I'm used to that as well. So let's see. So this was adding in, so that's Sith words. Yep, so we'll add those in. So those are all staged. Adding alternate Sith detection techniques, which are not random. So they're based on science. Science, like, if your name has Darth, you're probably a Sith, and things like that. Anyway, I'm hoping everybody had fun with that one. This was kind of a weird stream for us. As I said, we're usually in C# and JavaScript and that sort of thing in the .NET Core land. We also like Vue.js, so if you're a fan of any of that, please stick around for our future streams where we're going to do that kind of stuff. Regarding our other stuff, we are going to get back to doing some i7 things, because again, as most of you know, in Interactive 7, that's our Final Fantasy 7 chat interactivity program. Yes, if you are new here, we have been building a program that gives chat interaction directly with Final Fantasy 7, so someone can stream the game and chat can affect it. That's one of our main projects here, and we are going to try to push that one out the door. We want to get it wrapped up, get it deployed so that people can actually start using it. So we'll see how that goes coming up here in the future. I want to tie in some information from there is a project that Mr. Shoji has been working on that grabs information from the game, and we want to try to use that at some point, but I kind of want to delay doing that for now. The reason I say that is because I don't want to delay the release of this program. So we have two problems we need to fix. One of them is we need to be able to detect if you have an item that protects you from status effects, and just say no users applying status effects so that our program just works. And then the second thing that we want to do is we're going to eventually want to have that come from game information. So for now, we're going to try to pull it from game information if we can. If we cannot pull that from the game information, we're going to hard code it for now. So people running mods, V1 release we won't be great for, but anybody that's running the base game would be fine. We'll see, because as I said, I don't want to delay the release. I do want to get this out so people can start using it, because I know a bunch of people that want to use the code that we've been running. We've been writing. So always important to release code. It's doesn't do anybody any good if you never push it out there. Other things, I want to make sure I click this button, and there we go. Regarding which can be edited ordinarily with special versions. It's in the save map, which can't be edited normally without special versions of Mako and EXE. Sunamods, I am going to need to find out more about exactly what that answer means. And hopefully we can figure that one out. Because if we can make that actually work better, that would be nice. Because I'd rather just make it work. Exactly. So either way, I have a family that I'm going to get back to as this nice weekend. Hopefully you are all having a great weekend as well. I will be back certainly next Saturday for another stream here on the channel. Again, I want to get in a weekday stream sometime soon, but as anyone that's been following the channel lately knows, my schedule has been a little bit hectic lately, and the normal time that I would stream is not currently available to stream, so that just makes it tough, because there are only certain times a day that I realistically can stream, so hence why my schedule is when it is. But the problem is when I'm caught in meetings during that time, I can't be streaming. So either way, I am going to try to get some weekday streams in. Whether it means the time shifts or something like that, we'll see. So either way, I want to thank everybody for hanging out today. This was a fun little one-off stream. We might do some more of these sometime, but I definitely want to get back to our usual stuff. Either way, I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I want to make sure that I thank our moderators. That Brendonius guy is awesome, and so is S&B, Lucky Number 7, and Stoolpenner. Thank you for helping out with us today. I want to thank our new followers. These wonderful people decided to follow the channel today, so thank you for taking a moment to click that button. And I also want to make sure that I thank Nate, Lucky, and Miha, each for resubbing to the channel. Everybody else who participated and chatted, interacted with the stuff that we've been building, I want to thank you for helping out. Even if all you were doing was, you know, changing the colors of overlay elements or something along those lines. We will see you next time. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy coding, everyone. And have a great week. Bye, everyone.